Welcome back to the Rebuilding Grand Bahama docu-series. The construction process of the project gives us a sense of progress and action. In this episode, we highlight the Disaster Reconstruction Authority's role in the rebuilding of many homes on our island.
The morning of the storm, it started out with just a little wind and breeze blowing. Throughout the evening and throughout the night when the storm really started, my husband and I were taking turns while the kids were sleeping, looking outside and keeping watch of everything. We did not know that it was so bad outside until we got a call from our neighbor stating that his car was underwater. We opened our back porch door. In the den was filled with water. So as we started to pack a few things, the water just started rushing and rushing inside the house. So we decided that, okay, we need to get out. And the only way to get out was by getting a hammer, going in the kitchen and making a hole in the ceiling to go into the rafters. And that is exactly what we did. It was 5 of us with 2 dogs. While we were there, it was like a horror movie. We could have heard the winds howling. The breeze was so loud. The opposite side of our house, we could hear the walls just tumbling down. We could hear the roof just lifting. And inside the house was already submerged to the top with water. We made a few phone calls because our cell phone was still up to try to get help. What we decided to do, because the water was starting to come in the rafters and the roof was just lifting, we decided that we would have to make our way out of the house completely. So we took the hammer that we took with us in the rafters. We started to break through the ceiling to get on top of the roof. It took us about an hour to break through, and we stayed there for 25 hours until the storm passed. After the storm, when we got rescued that evening, we went by my daughter and we stayed with her until we got a place. But by the second day, we came home to assess our damage. And it was terrifying to see what had happened to our home that we had for 15 years. The Small Homes Repair Program, the DRA, was a blessing. It was a blessing to my family, and I know it has been a blessing to other families. Because if it was not for the DRA Small Homes Repair Program, I don't know where we would be at this time. When they opened up the application and I applied for the application, in no time I received a phone call concerning my application. This process was the most easiest process that I have ever done through any government agency. As a result of getting assistance from the DRA, one side of our duplex is basically 75% complete for us to almost move back into the home. I was able to do a lot with the assistance that I got from them. When I got the assistance, I sat down and I went through it thoroughly to see what was the best way for me to use this assistance to make it possible for me to get back home, to get my family back home. And I did the best that I knew how to do it, and because of that, and because of their assistance, we should be back home shortly. Our home is a duplex. The side that we lived on during the storm, the roof is off on that side. It's still off at this time. The wall was down. So when I got the assistance from the DRA, I decided, like I said, I had to think thoroughly, how am I going to use this assistance, how it's going to best suit my family. I thought about it. I said, well, if I fix the roof, then that will take up all of the monies. So we decided to put the wall back up on that side, and the side that have the roof that still isn't intact, no leak or anything like that, even though it was destroyed completely inside, it was best to fix that side first. So that is what I did. So what I am saying is that instead of just, when I got the assistance, I didn't just rush to just make a decision just like that. I decided to sit and I thought about it and say, what is the best way to make this money work for me? And that's what I feel that most people needs to do.
Remember my husband and I fighting through the water, trying to secure our things, our children, and I could remember the water just being black. I don't know what was in it. We couldn't see anything in it, but I remember it was being black, and we were really scared. It was fearful for our kids. They didn't understand what was going on. I think the water was up to like our thighs when we was like, okay, I think we should just go to a higher level, because at this point the water doesn't look like it's about to stop. We stayed there until the next day. It would be the 3rd of September. We came down. The water had started to recede a little bit, but I can remember that everything was just soaked and wet. The carpets, the beds, all the furniture, everything was just basically melted. It was bad, but it was honestly, it was heartbreaking. In this area, we have never seen flood before. Well, I first heard about the DRA from my cousin, because where she was staying was also compromised in the hurricane. And she told me, I remember her telling me the date. I think she said it would be February that they would be starting, and she was like, set an alarm, set a calendar reminder to go ahead and register. And I was like, you think that's going to be something legitimate? And she was like, yes, I think so, but apply anyway. And I can remember I was at work and I went on and I registered, and at that point I still was a little skeptical. I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And I think a week later, I got a call from a lady by the name of Miss Smith. And the process was really good. I mean, it was surprising to me because I didn't expect things to happen as soon as they did. And she walked me through everything that we would need to do. And we did that. And it was less than a month when we got a call back and said that our purchase orders are ready. And I could remember us being excited, because for us it was mainly the roof, because we had really, our roof was really compromised. I mean, we would be dreading days when it rained, because you could be sleeping and when you hear a rainfall, you're like, oh my God, I know this house is going to be in a mess. In the morning, you're getting up, you're putting pots and pans to secure the sea from the ceiling to the leakages. And I can remember us that day we went and we picked up our plywood and the peel and stick and our shingles, and it was an exciting day. We were like, oh my God, this came through. We were really, really grateful. It was truly a blessing, and I can't thank the DRA enough. With the help from the DRA, we were able to change all of the plywood that was compromised. We had blue tap all over this for months. So we were able to change out all of the all of the plywood, and we were able to put on new peel and stick and shingles. We were also able to get paint. We got paint, and we were also able to get the motors to fix the gates. I just want to tell you guys that everything is going to be all right. We just have to trust and believe in God and be thankful for agencies like the DRA that came and render assistance to persons like us that, at that time, we couldn't afford to do what we need to do.
What I would like to say to everyone, be grateful for the assistance that you get. Be grateful for, if it's just $1, you be grateful for it. I've heard persons saying, I can't believe this is all that I got. But whatever you got is better than nothing. DRA, Smalls Home Repair, I thank you so much. because if it was not for your program, my family would not be on the verge of coming back home shortly. So I thank you so much for your help.
The Disaster Reconstruction Authority Act was enacted by Parliament in 2019 in response to the widespread devastation of Hurricane Dorian on the northern Bahamas. The DRA is responsible for the management and the reconstruction, along with the restoration within the disaster zones which the government designates. Hurricane Dorian was a Category 5 hurricane. It was the strongest hurricane that our country and this area, this region has seen. And the creation of our organization was a natural outflow of government in response to the widespread devastation. The DRA's Small Home Repair Program began in February 2020 to provide much needed assistance to homeowners after the past Hurricane Dorian. The program focuses on assessing the damage, determining the dollar value of need, and making arrangements for homeowners to be able to procure both labor and materials in order to repair their homes. Once the assessments are carried out and the damage level is determined, the residents are able to receive assistance in 4 categories. If there is minimum damage, $2,500 is the assistance. Medium damage, $5,000 is the assistance. Major damage, $7,500 assistance is provided. And if you have a completely destroyed home, $10,000 in assistance is provided. The funds can be used towards materials, labor, or a combination of both. The Small Home Repair Program has approved over 2,500 Grand Bahamians to receive assistance. Of that 2,500 which has been approved, it corresponds to a total of 2,954 persons who were registered. Persons who are registered and not approved will probably fit into several categories. Either they had insurance, they were in rental apartments or income generating apartments, or they weren't Bahamian nationals. In Grand Bahama, the DRA has spent upwards to $7,750,000 in doing repairs in Grand Bahama alone. In Grand Bahama, the DRA is actively pursuing projects including the restoration of the Rand, solar street lighting, small home repair, cleanup in the communities of East Grand Bahama, starting at Freetown and leading all the way out to Sweetings Key, provision of modular housing on Sweetings Key, the provision of dome housing in East Grand Bahama, marine cleanup in the waterways around East Grand Bahama, and the provision of power restoration in coordination with GB Power. Grand Bahama is a key focus area for the DRA in restoring the lives and the communities.
We are so grateful to the government on the creation of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority's Small Home Repair Program and the role they played in assisting homeowners. We thank you again for watching, and remember to join us next week Monday at 6:15 p.m. as our series continues with the Grand Bahama Food Distribution Program.